win. You think?
I mean, these are a mix of players that have been trying for so long and are trying in their basically first split. Yeah. Pride Stalker compared to like Husky and Yuki, so certainly is a big mix for Misfits Academy, whereas Fnatic Academy, you'd have to assume, were a team that people just thought were going right up into the LCS once Schalke were out of the way.
After we saw them in open qualifiers, people were tipping them as their #1 or #2 in the split, and it took them a long time to really find their form. Now, we talk about inexperience on the side of Misfits. There are a few names there that perhaps haven't been seen around in the European scene or the higher level European scene, but Yuki has played in a lot of the national leagues. He's the eldest player on the team. Jisoo played in the Korean Challenger Series for Ever 8.
Yep, he did.
Quite a popular team as well. Dreams played for Misfits before they got into Challenger Series and swapped occasionally with Ignar for that support role. So these players have been around for a while, if not perhaps at the same level as Fnatic Academy. It's a battle of the veterans versus the new blood.
Yeah, it's been an interesting split lineup-wise for both organizations. Obviously, the well-known Broxer shift for Fnatic did have an effect on their Academy squad. Of course, Amazing then coming in 2 weeks later. Same jungle changes for Misfits Academy. I mean, at the beginning of the split, it was meant to be Llama Bear that was playing for Misfits Academy. Week 1, they had Kadir, who took a step back, so a second jungler had to come back in for Misfits Academy, and that's where they found themselves with Pride Stalker. But, you know, 6 weeks, 7 weeks on down the line, seems to have benefited Misfits Academy quite significantly. This time with Pride Stalker has improved them to a level where they're 1 game away from being in the LCS.
And it's quite a shock as well, because when Pride Stalker came in, he was thoroughly out-jungled by every opponent he matched into. I believe his first week was against Schalke, so it's a little bit of a difficult
But then Tabasco the week after, and that's what we started seeing him a little better against Kinguin, but it still wasn't convincing.
Yeah. Now it's a lot more convincing. Amazing has at times looked his superior, but Pride Stalker in the last 2 games has been devastating on that Graves. Now we're going to see how he does on this Kha'Zix. A lot of the game, especially game 3, was focused around this bottom lane, and once again we see Amazing looking for a gank.
Oh, he's going in on Yuki.
Yuki's going to flash away. Stranglethorns will land. Grasping who's there. Yuki's taking a lot of damage, will heal. Get himself out.
3 summoners used by Misfits, and yeah, you were talking about how much the game is focused around the bot side. A lot of time from the AD carries being spent closer to the junglers. This time, it's a way more direct approach from Amazing. This is, I'm going to bot lane. Early on, I'm going to try and camp. The problem is, doesn't convert it into a kill. Now let's see what Pride Stalker can do on the other side. However, of course, no flash, no heal on Varus against Zyra. Ezreal could result in a kill coming through in a minute or so for Fnatic.
And Pride Stalker realizes that he can't gank Gragas as well. Like, Jisoo's always going to push that lane up early on. Gragas under tower is very difficult to gank with the body slam, with the flash still available, with his passive as well, even to give himself some health back. Backs away from it, gets some deep vision. A couple of wards in that blue side jungle will allow him to spot out any roaming that Amazing will do. And I think he actually dodged that Scryer's Bloom as well.
Yeah, looked like it. Looking at the itemization in the bottom lane, something we've seen more and more is Ezreal's forgo the very early tier on first back, pick up the Sheen. This will accentuate a little bit of extra damage now against Yuki. The fact that Yuki, yes, he has Vamp Scepter, but no potions. He's with a support that will not give him sustain, will only give him shield, so it means that Mr. Rales and Cly will have significant burst damage whenever there's a bot lane trade that Misfits Academy are going to have to try and figure out how they can stay alive through.
Jisoo has level 6 here, so he's stepping forward to see perhaps if they can push Amazing back. Kick is still only level 5. We'll hit 6 off that wave, you have to think. And Pride Stalker's been spotted out here.
Good trade.
Amazing jumps in, great trade.
That's the problem with Kha'Zix into Lee Sin. If you end up face-checking and the equivalent of Amazing coming out of Fog of War there, you end up losing a third of your health. You can't take the trade reliably because all the damage has already been done and Amazing will just stick on you.
As much as Yuki perhaps doesn't have the sustain in this lane, he's doing a very good job of forcing Cly and Mr. Rales back. The Varus wave play is pretty strong. Lulu there with the push power as well, and we can start to see a small CS advantage for Yuki. Expect that to extend to about 10 or 15 or so by that 15-minute mark.
And a lot of that is the fact that Yuki had some time in lane where Rales and Cly weren't, but also Cly is eating some poke at the same time. Those charged up piercing arrows. But I like to see this out of Fnatic Academy. This is what Misfits started to do in previous games when they had this Syndra. Make sure you get the vision control towards the side of the map your jungler is playing on, and now you know this bot half of the map theoretically is fairly safe. Now Cosq has to be careful of the trade with Niski, but he's not going to kill the Orianna through the barrier this early on.
And we're starting to see the inverse of the matchup we saw just a couple of games ago with the Syndra into the Orianna. Now Cosq's playing the Ori, playing safer, getting pushed back by Niski, and it shows that both of these mid laners are actually very equal in terms of their skill, if not in terms of the way they play around the rest of the map.
I think it's an interesting decision, though, for Misfits Academy to go the other way from how they've been playing recently. TP coming bot, though, hang on.
They're going for the engage onto Rales and Cly. Rales still 5, Cly there as well. First blood to Jisoo. He flashes forward. Rales still has his flash and his heal. Can perhaps trade into this. There's the heal, use the flash. Not quite pop because here is Niski and Amazing looking to see if perhaps they can get something out of this fight.
Just making sure there's a disengage coming through. Rales held onto his flash, was safe, but Clyde didn't have his available from the previous trade, was not able to get out alive, and that's Misfits Academy, that first teleport of the game. It looks like Kikis, I'm not sure whether he cancelled his TP or was already TPing to top lane. It's cooling down faster, so I assume he cancelled it in that exchange, but Amazing. Oh, they didn't quite get the stun on Cosq.
Cosq dodging the stun, just sidestepping it there, gets himself out. Misfits are going to stack 4 men down here. They don't have TP, but of course, as you say, Fnatic don't have theirs either, so Misfits should be able to secure themselves an Infernal Drake. Pride Stalker 6, so it Dreams and Yuki. Flies off towards the side, but Fnatic seem to have just given this one up.
Yeah, Amazing isn't in position to try and steal it away. A little surprised perhaps Amazing and Niski didn't go further on to that mid lane exchange, but he was the TP coming through. So Kikis has already gone up to the top lane by the looks of it. He must have used his TP to get to lane, and then Cly ends up dying. Rales stays alive thanks to his heal. Don't know whether he didn't have Arcane Shift available still. He'd used it at the beginning to get off the Equalizer, right? And then it just hadn't cooled down. Didn't get enough of those Qs out.
Now the question is, can Misfits react to Fnatic's reaction to that play? Because Jisoo no longer has flash because he used that, and you can see Fnatic bring Niski and Amazing up there. They clear out some vision, and it depends on how Jisoo plays this. You can see how safe he's being, how cautious he's being. He's going to lose first tower, but he'll be happy enough just to stay safe, stay back, and not give up a kill.
A lot of this series, Misfits Academy have been the ones taking first tower blood from the top lane, though. Now Fnatic are the ones that take that down. It's a bit of a change of pace. Misfits Academy using an early teleport play to group up on the bot side, now exchanged for top tower. We'll see how that unfolds now. Both TPs not available. Where's Kikis going on the map? Looks like he's heading towards top side again. Amazing's still up there, so isn't having too much success on the rest of the map. I wonder whether he stole that red buff away. No, he did not.
Misfits Academy maintained their 100% first blood record across this split, across this series, though. Not the split, that would be even more impressive. And now, perhaps, with a second Infernal Drake, they're going to play much more down to the bottom side of this map. Jisoo's finished his Liandry's, as Mercury treads onto Kozku for a little bit of extra magic resist. And actually, Price Talker's just trading into Clyde here. Exhaust comes down.
Has he gone too far, though?
Has to flash away. Chain of Corruption looking for Clyde. There is the Stranglethorns. Yuki knocked up. Morales doing work on this Ezreal. Will Arcane shift away?
That was a 3 versus 2 overall. Pride Stalker jumped right into Cly, got double summoners from him, expended his flash himself. Yuki flashed in as well. So summoners traded all around the board. Fnatic Academy, I think they'll be okay with the position they're in right now. They haven't really played too much utilizing Niski, but still a lot of trading on the top and bottom lanes. Maybe we'll see Niski finally be able to roam out of lane, but he's spotted every time he does.
It opens up Kikis to roam a lot more as well, because he just continually pushes up this top wave and then comes down. We see already Kozku just moves across towards the other side.
They're looking to dive this flashless Varus. The problem is they have been spotted on the way in. They know the ward has gone down. They saw it, and that calls an end to Fnatic's push.
Smart play by Misfits to understand where Fnatic are looking. Their adaptation across the series has been strong, although Fnatic sometimes have looked as if they're one step ahead, with Misfits just being able to scrape team fights a little bit better. Knock back, Kozku caught up. There's the scat of the week. Niski unable to get in range for the Unleashed Power.
It looked like there wasn't quite enough time for Amazing to clarify that he wasn't going in there. It looked like he was moving, and then Pride Stalker rounded the corner, showed himself, and that made Amazing pull back right as Kikis went aggressive. So a little bit of mistiming there. Difficult to get that communication working, but
Shockwave onto Niski. He does use the Ghost, dodge out by Pride Stalker on the Sonic Wave, and Niski will just be able to Ghost away. But it's an ultimate for a summoner, and you take that trade, especially when you can defend your mid tower. Yeah,
anytime you can get a flash with a Shockwave, it ends up being worth it, even if you're not getting the kills.
Now, we get to this point in the game, and it's been a relatively slow start, as most of the games have, and I start to wonder how much the mental game is playing into the way this early game has gone. Because Misfits Academy, we've said it in picks and bans, we said less experienced players that have been on the brink of LCS time and time again, but not quite there. And now you have to think that they can taste it. They can smell the LCS stage. They can hear the sound of the crowd as they come out for their first game of the split. They can hear the sound of your voice in their ears, Stress, or perhaps not with the noise-cancelling headphones. But they can sense it. They can sense how close they are. And that has to pay a toll. And you have to be able to deal with those nerves and to channel them and to channel that adrenaline into this final game.
It's difficult because players face situations in their own ways. So I'm sure with 5 different individuals up there, probably feeling a little different, each of them, but certainly you can tell from the way that their demeanor is. Kozku looks very, very focused in this game, as he has all series. We were talking about it. This is the closest he has been. And a win here does, in this split, what he couldn't do in 4 previous splits.
You just have to look at Rocket to see how much that mental game can change a team. They bring in a sports psychologist and they go on a winning spree and they take down the might of G2. Misfits Academy here looking to take down the might of Fnatic Academy. Dodge out once again by Kozku.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was the nudge that Fnatic needed. The sister team, that big push that brings them up to speed. I mean, Fnatic Academy kind of had the same kick up the backside when Amazing joined, and they didn't win that second game up against Misfits Academy, but then ended up getting their spot in playoffs, beating Giants, in their first series in promotions after downing PSG in a 5-game series. So Fnatic Academy have had a lot of recent experience too against tougher opponents.
Coscu has flash here, just uses the shield, then flashes away. Shockwave dodged by Kikis. Both teams playing down towards the bottom side of the map here, Stress. The Infernal Drake has spawned, and they both want that tasty, tasty dragon meat.
Difficult probably to get at that. You've got to get through the scales and the, especially Infernal Drake.
I wonder if like you always hear dragons in stories are sort of like those are rubies that cover his skin. This looks more like lava. I'm not sure. At least it's pre-cooked.
Ready to eat. It's been an odd game because Fnatic have looked a lot less convincing with this Syndra than Misfits have. And take into account that Amazing's playing the Lee Sin in game 1, they looked significantly better with this Lee Sin, like finding picks, finding plays. Misfits Academy, this will be their second Infernal Drake of the game. Yuki has to flash because he came over with the blast cone. Fightstalker's going to get the Drake, and now the fight will commence. Kikis on the flank, there's 4 members there. He's not going to be able to knock him up, and Fightstalker goes the wrong way into the Unleashed Power, kicked back by Amazing, taken down by Mr. Rales. 1 kill for Dragon is still in favor of Misfits Academy, but they are likely to lose mid-tower from this. Coscu's going to have to shockwave the minions off, and then hope he doesn't get dived behind this tower here. That's what they're looking for, but look how low health he is. They've got to be so careful here. Kikis could just ult. Knock back onto Coscu. Niski there. Amazing across the wall. The shockwave dodge. Coscu is low. Amazing will fall as well. And somehow, Jisoo survives with the heal from Yuki. Misfits Academy able to keep their mid lane tower alive. But that's because Fnatic made this play on the bottom side. What we didn't see during all of that play was Rales and Nikolai playing out on their own. And maybe Fnatic Academy are on slightly different pages here as we're still in match point here. Of course, Misfits Academy, a win puts them into the LCS, but Fnatic are trying everything. They started this dragon. Misfits Academy then turn the positioning around, and Pridestalker tries to escape. He tries his best. Amazing, not sure whether the flash was necessary, but he just wanted to make sure he got the other side to kick him back into the team. Ult comes out, but just within range of Dreams to get the wild growth. And then Fnatic Academy end up trading 1-for-1 on the back half of that exchange, but the tower went down in the bot lane. Yeah, so even though the kills are even, Fnatic actually have a 3,000 or 2,500 gold lead. Clay actually flashes in here, trying to get on the Coscu. Stranglethorns comes down, will get the knock-up. There's the stun with the scatter the weak. Coscu so low, but shielded. Not quite able to survive. Dream's going to get caught out with a True Shot Barrage as well. And Mr. Rales is showing us why this Ezreal is so strong. This was a better set of plays out of Fnatic. I prefer this set. They finally started to play around this Syndra. Equalizer comes out, a good TP just to keep that cannon minion alive. But will it be too much for Fnatic Academy? Rales actually took aggro there. Chain of Corruption comes out. Rales is low, but manages to jump away. The explosive cast knocks Pridestalker down. Misfits Academy continue to give up kills to just try and hold on to towers. Rales heal, flash, arcane shift away on about 10 health. And it was enough to keep him alive. This is what we were talking about. If that had been, you know, the low mobility AD carry in a similar situation, the Varus would have killed him. And that's what we saw in games 1, 2, and 3, where when Mr. Rales was under pressure without his own escape, he ended up falling. This time he can get himself away easily, make it look flashy, maybe not quite so easy, but just enough to survive. And this is just great play. Like, Clive flashes in here and misses, but the Stranglethorns is enough to stop Coscu. Yeah, when Coscu doesn't have flash, all Clive needed was Coscu to move back into the lane and, you know, slow down his escape path, because then it's just the ultimate on top of it. So Equalizer came out. I believe Rales actually, so Rales was trying to get a Sheen proc on his next auto by throwing out his Q. Either that or he's trying to just hit the first minion and follow up so they could get the tower. And it actually hit Jisoo, which made him take tower aggro, so he had to get out of the fight, but got Chains of Corruption. Yeah. So a little unfortunate, but Rales ends up okay at the end of it all. Still managed to survive, and Fnatic continue to extend this gold lead. 5,000 gold ahead, or just before 20 minutes in the game. And although the start of the game was slow, Fnatic have really sped up the pace as we get further on. They've already cleared that first tier of towers, and now they're looking to move forward to the second. Rales 2-0-2. Cly is you know, been helping trying to get some of these picks set up. You saw him push back Jisoo from the jungle, allows him to keep some of these control wards alive. This is better out of Fnatic Academy. I feel like Kikis on a slightly more conventional pick, when he isn't just crushing his lane opponent, works so much better. It gives him an engage tool. It gives Fnatic Academy the ability to play around Miski even more so, and then keep Rales safe.
Fnatic Academy just set up 5 members mid. They get another tower for themselves. Infernal Drake on the cards in a minute and a half, and the Baron up as well. Fnatic are just taking advantage after advantage, and Misfits don't seem to be able to answer.
More reminiscent of Game 1. Yep. I mean, we were looking at what Amazing needed to play. We saw the Rek'Sai come out in Game 2. That didn't hit the mark. Game 3, it was the Lee Sin. But the rest of the team, we had the unorthodox picks in the top lane. Where we had the Ahri, we had the Jarvan. All sorts of crazy.
The thing I think here for Misfits is you have to decide where you want to play on the map. Do you play down towards that third Infernal? Do you play up towards the Baron? At the moment, your only fed member is that Rumble, who has Liandry's, and looks like he's building towards an Abyssal Scepter next as well. So we'll have quite a lot of magic resist and quite a lot of shred. But the rest of your team is quite far behind your opponents.
Yeah, it's a difficult trough to get yourself out of, especially when you look at, like, Fnatic Academy at least have a half-decent scaling component too. Like, Ezreal is decent in the late game. Cosq, for Misfits Academy, though, will be able to output a good amount of damage. Those 2 Infernal Drakes, though, how much of a difference maker will they be? Because that's a significant portion of extra damage that Misfits Academy should have. And look what's on the cards for the next Drake.
Well, we're going to see a fiery battle around it, I'm sure. Misfits actually might even just give it up and say, look, we've already got 2, we don't need the third. However, sets up for a good equalizer if they go in. The TP's being used, Pridestalker there, Void Assault off towards the side, looking to see perhaps if he can jump in. Already, it's gone. The Explosive Cast knocks them all back, and Misfits Academy cannot find the engage.
Nope, Fnatic this time get themselves onto the Dragon quickly. Misfits don't punish. And now Fnatic instantly look towards the Baron area, at least, trying to just get wards down, puts 1 in mid lane. Very common spot to see where Cosq and the rest of Misfits Academy are moving. If they're in lane, obviously they can't put any kind of control around the Baron. There was a blue trinket used by Misfits Academy and a ward in the back, but that is alive for now. They know it'll end up falling soon.
Kikis once again just goes off towards a side lane and starts to split. It's Jisoo's actually gone Void Staff instead of the Abyssal Scepter, so still penetration.
Yeah, still just trying to chunk through some of the tankiness of Kikis. Now, Rales is in the top lane and actually pushed it through. Is going to try and make bot lane push and check through mid lane because Fnatic are on the Baron again.
It's a pretty simple Baron for them to do.
Blue trinkets available for Misfits Academy. They're slow on this one. Misfits Academy are going to let the Baron go away.
Pridestalker's just around the corner. Void Assault, he's going to try and jump in. He doesn't quite get the Baron steal. Will jump his way out, and Fnatic get it by the skin of their teeth.
Ooh, that was close. Amazing breathes a sigh of relief. You can see on the player camera, he kind of adjusted himself in his chair. Just took a moment, thought, okay, that was close. Baron went down to about 700 health before the smite came through. And Fnatic Academy secure it. So we saw them in Game 1 do a significant amount of damage with the first Baron buff, but then ended up needing a little extra time against Misfits. I feel like it's going to be the same case. I don't feel like they're so significantly far ahead that they will just win the game on this Baron, but one bad fight out of Misfits, and that almost certainly is possible.
Or one good ultimate out of Niski. He's got himself a 2,000 gold lead over that Orianna. Now, across the board, basically 2,000 is the number you're looking at. Only top lane is still relatively even. Misfits Academy on the back foot once again. We've seen them come from behind before, overcome deficits perhaps not this large, 7,000 gold the difference between the teams. But still, they always have that possibility of getting back into a game.
So here comes the first tower push. Jisoo's no teleport, has to recall, immediately starts his recall, but remember that's 8 seconds now that Fnatic Academy will have before he even appears in base. And they have a lot of threat behind the tower. But Fnatic are going to take this one slowly. Oh, there's the ult.
Not too slowly at the moment, but Clyde's caught out, has to flash, equalizer down as well. Clyde healed up, but Coscu will get the kill, and now Pridestalk is still looking for the flank. Fnatic, 4 members pushing in once again. All the ults used for Misfits Academy.
But is it too much for Fnatic to push 4 versus 5 here? Obviously, defender's advantage on the geography of the map allows Misfits to go from mid to bot very quickly. Not the same really for Fnatic. If they try and cut corners, the only one that maybe can do it is Kikis because he's so tanky, but they've seen Pridestalker over there. Misfits Academy are going to try and hold. Rallis has lost half of his health. He's going to be careful that Kha'Zix doesn't just jump right in.
The turret goes down, and because there's no equalizer, because there's no shockwave, no chain of corruption, Misfits Academy are unable to defend their inhibitor tower. Fnatic break the base as they look to equalize this series.
Recalls coming out from Fnatic. 1 minute on the Baron buff. It's an Ocean Drake, so not really worth the massive priority. It looks like Fnatic are going to swing around to the top side instead. Push that out, get that last remaining tower that is not a base tower. 6 towers have fallen in favor of Fnatic, and 0 have fallen for Misfits Academy. This has been a significantly different game because Misfits had prioritized top tower so heavily in the previous few games of this series.
Now Fnatic will look for a 4-man stack up towards the top side. Use those remaining 30 seconds of the Baron buff to get themselves another turret. Coscu, Dreams, and Yuki making their stand underneath this tower, though, will defend for the time being. Jisoo's back as well. Equalizer up, the ults once again.
Kikis is trying to push mid lane at the same time here. That will allow him to cut around and look behind Misfits if he can get there. Now Jisoo's reacting. The Baron buff is about to expire, so it's likely to be only this outer tower that goes down. Kikis is roaming up. The rest of Misfits have to be very careful if he catches him.
Dreams knocked back and caught up with the stun, taken down by Niski. It's a 4v5, only Amazing caught in the shockwave. Equalizer still up though for Jisoo if he wants to try and clear out a wave. There's only a cannon minion here. It means the Equalizer comes down onto Niski, but Fnatic will just be able to back away.
Oof, Yuki didn't quite get hit by that stun, and Fnatic may be overstaying their welcome here. Yes, they got the pickoff on Dreams, but with Baron buff expired, no engage tool out of Kikis, they'd be relying on a flash kick to get somebody into the backline, but even then, that means Amazing will be so far into the base that Fnatic are going to reset. 3,700 gold lead increased by Dreams. Thought maybe he got out. Gets stunned right by that second sphere. Couldn't survive.
9,000 gold now the lead for Fnatic Academy, and that's the sort of Baron power play we want to see. 4K gained for them across the course of the last couple of minutes, and have to wonder how much of it comes down to the comfort picks. The Syndra locking straight away for Fnatic, it's that first pick, and then the Ezreal for Mr. Rales as well. He has been popping off this game, 203 on that AD count.
I think it's a mix of things, like the comfort, the strength of the likes of Syndra being an active team. Orianna forces you, for the most part, to be more passive. That doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have options. We've seen Kha'Zix, Orianna work very well to engage fights, predominantly from ahead though, because if Pridestalker jumps in, he is getting taken down by Fnatic Academy.
Well, Fnatic get the Ocean Drake. Good thing it doesn't counteract their Fire Drake that they got earlier on. Put it out, cause a Steam Drake. What would a Steam Drake do for you, Stress?
Dressed really, like, funnily, like with the big hat.
So it'd be like an April Fool's joke, Steam Drake. And you, like, I meant in the game. Like, if
yeah,
you're gonna have a Steam
I was
Dragon.
making a steampunk reference,
Oh,
but I didn't know
you
how
were.
to...
Oh, the tech jokes.
Yeah,
oh.
I didn't know how to carry that one through, unfortunately.
Clockwork. Wind up would have an increased cooldown. Anyway, Misfits Academy going to try and defend their inhibitor, but Rales, this is what we see him do when he gets on this Ezreal. Just steps forward, very happy to use that arcane shift just to jump out of any fights. And 2 lanes being pushed in here by Fnatic Academy. The 3rd lane in top is going to slow push for Misfits, but there's still 3 towers to go through before it gets to an inhibitor.
Yeah, and that just means it's basically a neutralized lane for now. So Fnatic, they're not focused on it. It might be a little bit of gold that goes over to Misfits, but they are solely focused on getting that inhibitor step past the chains of corruption from Yuki. Fnatic Academy looking to wind this one up with a 2nd inhibitor tower of their own here.
They've already got that inhibitor in the bot lane. Pridestalker has to leap away. Kosku stepping forward, looking to see perhaps if the shockwave can connect. Explosive Cast knocks them back, and Rales still just pressuring that tower pretty effectively.
A couple more minions would have been enough for Fnatic to get that tower, but Kikis tries to throw out the Gragas barrel, trying to just push Misfits Academy back away so they can take that tower. They look like they want to try and go for it again here.
Gold League's still sitting at about 9,000. It's mammoth, but not gargantuan, not insurmountable. We've seen teams come from further behind before, albeit rarely.
Okay, sorry, that's the tower now going down, top side.
First tower of the game for Misfits.
30 minutes in.
Sometimes. You take what you can, you know? Better late than never. They'll get their first turret of the game. Baron back up. Next Drake is an ocean once again because it's taken just before that Elder spawn timer would have happened, so... The thing is, though, you've got double Infernal on Misfits Academy, and the later you get into the game, the more effective that becomes, because it's a percentage increase.
Yep.
So the more AD, the more AP you get, the more those Infernal Drakes are going to benefit you.
Yeah, that is... That's a key thing that Misfits have to keep in mind. That's a lot of why they're playing this out very slow. They know that as they get later, you've got the Orianna, you've got the Varus. Should be easy to clean up a fight if Fnatic Academy don't get the ace. Oh, this could be the fight they need!
Clyde's low, here's Jisoo, they're going in! The Stranglethorns will separate the team though, and Fnatic can re-engage. The True Shot does huge amounts of work. Pride Stalker goes down, it's a triple for the Ezreal. He's looking for more as they're going to chase Koskyu off towards the side. The Shockwave is not enough to keep him alive. Niski almost falls, but it's a quadra kill for Mr. Rales, and Fnatic will take the game.
They needed Niski to come into the fight just to tidy things up, and then Rales gets the quadra on top of it, nearly the penta, but Fnatic Academy are taking us to a game 5, firing back against Misfits Academy. They opened the base, down go the Nexus turrets.
Misfits get schooled by Fnatic Academy as they take us all the way to game 5 after evening out the series 2